for me since my days as public relations officer. How did it originate? In 2011, some characters, went and they hit the towers in the U.S., and in response to that, the World Customs Community started putting in place a number of measures to ensure the security of the supply chain. But while they are doing that, they felt that they needed to also take measures not to compromise the movement of legitimate trade. So it's quite a dilemma, ensuring that countries are safe without necessarily disrupting the flow of trade. So this went on until 2010, 2011, when the Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA, was signed. And part of the obligations of the TFA was that countries have to put in place measures that will guarantee facilitation of trade. Part of them include the deployment of technologies and all of that. So single window is one of those tools that signatories to the Trade Facilitation Agreement undertook to deploy for them to facilitate trade, taking into cognizance all the security threats that are related. I think Femi's question is also related to that. Is it necessarily for revenue? So it is a very important tool for trade facilitation. It's also help us to manage revenue better. I used the term cross-border management earlier. So it's a tool that helps us to get the best of all the worlds, both the discharge of the customs mandate of revenue, anti-smuggling, and trade facilitation. Will it affect revenue targets? Revenue targets are set at the beginning of the year. They are more or less things that should guide what we achieve by the end of the year. There could be things that will happen that will necessitate a revision of this. They are not cast in stone. But like I said, this tool is not necessarily about revenue. They help to enhance the revenue, but they are not entirely revenue. There could be things that will happen in the course of the year. If, for example, our tariff regime changes, if there is a reduction in tariff over some goods item, for example, you will expect that once the tax base drops, it will also bring down the revenue. Thank you, Femi. I'm happy you call it new single window. And then you say new projections. Everything is new, just like your cap.
The National Single Window is an integrated platform that links all agencies and players in our import and export processes. These include the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Ports Authority, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Federal Inland Revenue Service, NAFDAC, NIMASA, CBN, SON, and key sector players such as exporters, importers, shipping lines, freight forwarders, banks, and clearing agents. The objective of this project is to enhance revenue generation and improve the ease of doing business by integrating standalone systems across the agencies, eliminating revenue leakages, streamlining regulatory submissions, centralizing payments, and simplifying compliance. The National Single Window project will be structured around 4 key pillars: single window for imports, single window for exports, port community system, and scanning services across our seaports, airports, and land borders. The implementation of this project will result into improved efficiencies in our import processes by providing real-time data and reducing the lead time to clear goods at the port, which in turn will result in the reduction of congestion at our ports. The single window project will cover both oil and non-oil exports. For oil exports, this project will help to provide real-time tracking, improve data transparency, and reduce the requirement of pre-shipment inspections. The steering committee, inaugurated today by His Excellency, will provide support, oversight, strategic direction, and guidance for the project team, and ensure the effective and timely completion of the project. Thank you very much, and we're open for questions.
who are the backbone of the economic growth of any country. And the ultimate goal is to reduce the time and the cost of doing business. And if you look at trade, imports, exports, and transit, you usually have regulatory agencies, you have financial institutions, and you have transport and logistics. And all of these agencies must come together to ensure that the time and cost is reduced for compliant business. We've heard about the 40 documents, so we'd have to look at all those documents, the processes that govern those documents, the legal environment, and then harmonize that so that you can have a single submission of data. If the trader or the importer puts in data into the system, they shouldn't be asked to repeat it for all the agencies across the regulatory, the finance, and the transport and logistics. They should be able to submit it once, and then each of the agencies consume it so that there can be expedited movement of the cargo as well as the documentary processes. And then with a good risk management system, those who are non-compliant can then be, finite resources can be spent on those transactions that are not compliant without impeding or without slowing the movement of those who are compliant and have done the right thing. So it's really an honor to see His Excellency the President inaugurate this, because it can only work if there's a national vision and there's national cohesion for everyone to work towards ensuring that we can all harmonize processes, harmonize documents, harmonize data elements, and have a legal framework to make sure that importers, exporters, and transit operators can work faster to move their goods, which will benefit citizens and the economy as a whole. Thank you.